Up the music. How is everyone?
Good.
Awesome. So, okay, hold on. I'm going to change my view. I woke up a little congested, so if I sound congested, forgive me. That is why. I think I got my head cold that my youngest son has had. So how was this exercise for everyone?
Good morning. This is Karen.
Good morning, Karen. How was it
Good
for you?
morning. It was very insightful for me, especially when I pulled out my bank statements and went through what I must have, what I want, what I could eliminate. And I never did that before. I just pay my bills and just make sure the money is there to pay the bills. But I saw where I could make a lot of changes. There's bills that I'm paying for things that I don't even use. And I could really save some money in going through the bank statements. And then with the focus points on the economic model, to me, like once you figure out the formula and you figure out how many listings you must have for the buyer and seller, and you do your conversion rate, and then you have the bottom number of the appointments that you must go on in order to meet your goal. To me, that once you go through that exercise, you just forget about it, and your focus should be on the appointments and your conversion rate. And then maybe go back and revisit it once a week to make sure you're on track, but not focusing on getting to the number, but just focus on the number. And that to me helps because I'm not all over the place, looking at different things. I'm just focusing on one thing. And that's making my appointments and the conversion rate. So this whole thing, I had this book for years. I've been with Keller Williams since 2004. So that's when I got the book, but I never actually really read it and dissect it. And so that's why this right here is really, really important to me.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. Who else wants to share? So for those of you who weren't on our call, I challenged, and even on some of our coaching calls, I've been challenging you guys, some that are new to my schedule, to really start to get familiar with your money, meaning your expenses. What are you spending stuff on? So I challenged some of you guys to print out 3 months worth of statements and do N for necessary, U for unnecessary, and W for want, to see where you're spending your money. Because we're getting into the models, and we're really dissecting what each model means and how you're using it in your business. And if you're not, we're going to start really focusing on using it in our businesses. Okay. Who else wants to share? Beth?
Yeah, so I do it. I've done this for my business accounts, and I focus way more on that than I do my personal. That's my my big aha in it. For whatever reason, it's easier for me to watch where my business money is going, but not my personal money. So going through that, I have some work to do on my personal side of things. So and like Karen, like going through this so intentionally this time through Mrea has been really good to focus on what it is I'm doing. You kind of like, so you put that plan together and you have this number, but I don't revisit it a lot, which is one of my problems. I'm so scattered. I got too many models, and not necessarily models, but things that I'm supposed to be doing on a daily basis. And it's always been my challenge, is trying to keep what I need in front of me and focus on that every day. So it's just a work in progress.
Awesome. Thank you, Beth. Anyone else want to share?
So good morning. It's 7 a.m. in California time.
Good morning.
It's good to see everyone. Yeah, so I so resonate. I mean, I so agree and really identify with what Beth just shared, as far as the so many models, and I'm going to try this, and then but this is good, and my aha moment was like, okay, you're focusing, but yet not in a consistent way. And so how to hone that in and be intentional, not be afraid of missing out on anything else, to just commit and focus.
Awesome. Cool. Anyone else want to share before we get into it?
I'll share.
Thanks, Adam.
Hey, I'm Adam. I watched the video last night from the second part. So I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. I know you wanted to introduce everybody. So yeah, so I'm getting to know some of you guys from just the videos before in the past. And even though I probably have the least amount of real estate experience from everyone else in the room, I'm relating with all of you. So thank you for sharing. Yeah, Beth, you nailed it. I'm pretty lean when it comes to business expenses. I think my biggest expense is investing in my coach and myself and being coached. So, yeah, which that is that's a necessary expense for me. My personal expenses are definitely, to be honest, I didn't want to do it. I know what it is. I know what my issue is. I know there's a lot of room for improvement there. And I am not really happy about even trying to do it. So, but I think that's a mindset thing that's easily overcome. And yeah, so the economic model is really great. And it goes back to really leads too. If I'm having enough leads, I can still have a really great business. I remember going through this exercise during Pivot Shift Ahead when James Shaw, like, none of us knew what was going on. And he basically was like, make more money, spend less money, and make more money and spend less money in combination. So there's those three strategies. I'd already do that in my business. Applying it to my personal life is where the growth is.
Awesome. I love hearing the ahas that you guys are getting. That's the whole purpose of this, right? Is for everyone to really dig into this so that next year you guys are accomplishing, not just in your business, but also in your personal life, goals that you have always dreamt of doing, and you're making it happen because you're changing. Also, who really did the 9 ways of thinking like a millionaire agent? Raise your hand. That was something I also challenged you guys. If you've not done that, we've got Thanksgiving next week, and it's a time for us to be thankful for our loved ones and everything that we have in our life. And there's no better time to really sit and reflect on how you're thinking than this upcoming holiday. So if you've not done so, please, I am like asking you for a favor to do that. It will truly start to change you. Okay, cool. So the economic model, there are the people who have a sound economic model, and there are 3 basic things that you guys should do. And one is it shows you where your money's coming from, your gross revenue. So, and I have you guys doing your 4 conversations, and you know how we figure out how many listings you need, buyers you need. Well, what I want, and Arian's going to be sharing the formula with you. I would love for you guys, after the call, she's going to email those of you who are on this call, she's going to email you the formula so that all you have to do is plug in your numbers, plugging in what we have created for 2022. If you need her to reshare that for a conversation with you, or the listing buyers needed formula, which should have been emailed to you, just let her know, because I want you guys to make sure that the way we've figured it out, which is based on the economic model, is exactly what you want, okay, in regards to gross revenue, what your expenses are, where your money goes. And we're going to have the budget model is I think it comes after the lead generating model. So a great thing that you guys printed out your 3 months. You've already got and should be compiling what you're spending on in your business, your personal and not wanted. And so showing you how much is left, your net income. For some of you, your net income is really important. And so we've taken what your net would be and we've added on top what your cap and royalties and, cost of sales, anything else that would have been on top of that to show you what your net's going to be. So an unsound economic model, which is what most people follow, they're not really sure where their money comes from. If I were to ask all of you right now, do you know exactly where your money's coming from and where it's going and how much is left over? Who could honestly raise their hand and say, I 100% do?
I think how much is left over is the part that I don't know necessarily. I know what I've got coming in as I'm tracking every commission.
Yeah.
I know kind of how much I'm spending, which isn't very much, but the leftover part in my personal is the is the big question.
Yeah. And for Anne Marie and Karen, how do you feel that there's room for growth, that you could always improve in that?
Oh, yeah. The only reason why I know is because I did this exercise. After this
Awesome.
like 2 days, and I would have said, no, I don't know. But
Awesome.
now I do know. I
Good.
do know, and there is lots of room for improvement, for growth. Mhm.
And who of you want to know exactly where your money's coming from, what you're spending it on, and how much you're going to have net? Cool. So we are going to start moving forward in your business. We are going to start looking, not only using this economic model, but really paying attention, because if we look at it on page 131, if you guys, for those of you who have your MREA on page 131, if you look at the model, it's the conversion rate. And one thing that I ask you guys is, what is your conversion rate? If y'all recall, on the listings needed, buyers needed, which is based on this economic model. And I've said to you guys, we're going to start looking at your conversion rates. We're really going to start paying attention. And there are some of you who haven't really paid attention to your numbers. You've just been really lucky and kicking butt and doing really well, right? And think of how much better you're going to be when you are consistently paying attention. So we're gonna start looking every month at the end. So I know I was doing it at the end of the quarter. For those of you who've been with me for a while, we were looking at the end of the quarter and where did you wind up? Are your conversion rates still the same? we're going to start looking and really paying attention to your appointments and your taken. Right? Because if you're hitting all your appointments and our taken's not happening, then there's something happening with the skill set and your conversion rate isn't what you believed it to be. Focus on the numbers you must hit. The key, 3 key areas, focusing on the numbers you must hit. For those of you who are newer in my schedule, I've challenged you to set just a goal for this last quarter. Right? We look at what your yearly goal was, and some of us, there's a gap. Some are close. Yet I thought, since you're so new, let's set a goal that you guys feel good with for this last quarter. And it's to teach you to focus on your numbers you must hit. Okay. So really what I am going to challenge all of you guys. We've already had our calls. We know what we're supposed to do for this last quarter. I really want you to focus on that. Focus on your appointments. Okay. Focus on your appointments. If you are having trouble, I'm here. Text me, call me. I love masterminding with you guys and coming up with great ways and sharing things that I've done to be in the millionaire club of Keller Williams and hitting over 100 units a year when I was at the top of my game in real estate. It's so simple. And it's really, truly in this book. Sometimes we get frustrated, we get overwhelmed, and we're like, oh, I just need help. Reach out to me. I'm here for you guys. Like, text me, hey, I just need 5 minutes. Awesome. Perfect. I'll do that for you. I would do that for anybody. 3, focus on conversion rates. This is so important. And I know I've just talked about that. It truly is. Because if we're off on what you're sharing with me, then your numbers are going to be off. You may be doing too little and not enough. And so moving forward, I just want you all to be committed in those 3 areas in the economic model. And as I said, Arian's going to send you, there's an Excel formula, just like the listings needed, buyers needed form. There's a formula already that's been built on the economic model. And so she's going to email that to you guys so that you guys can see, are we close on what your GCI is going to be? And then you're going to get a good idea of what your net's going to be. And you've already done your 3 months of expenses. So you know what it is you're spending now each month. So you've got that number to deduct from the expenses part to see what your net is. What are you guys thinking about this? As I'm sharing the 3 areas, what's clicking for y'all?
Well, I'll jump in. What's clicking for me is when you focus on your appointments. I had an appointment this past weekend, and before I was just kind of winging it, but this one's very, very important pivot. If I hit this one and if I get this one, I think that'll really change my business. So I looked and analyzed it, my old listing presentation, totally revamped it, practiced it, and it's just trying to, I'm trying to up my game, trying to figure out how am I going to get more attention, more, capture more of that business that I want out there. So that really forced me to look hard and critically at my old presentation and up my game on my new presentation.
Awesome. Good. It makes you pay attention, right? Whenever you're focusing, you're going, what's going on? Why am I not, what's happening? And then it makes you, and then so it forces you to kind of sit and digest and look at what's truly happening. We are actually on page 131 of the Mrea. If you want to just kind of open it, we're talking about the 3 areas, focusing on your numbers, your appointments, and your conversion rate. Who else? Rhonda, what are you thinking?
I actually did this exercise as far as the money when COVID hit. And I got lean and mean. And now as things are picking back up, I'm realizing how sloppy I am with my money again. So I wasn't on the last call, but I will definitely get my last 3 bank statements and mark those. And then 2, I'm not paying attention, I know, to my numbers. I've got everything set for 2022, and I used to be a numbers person, and I don't know when I became lazy, but I need to focus on those again.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Sherry.
Hi. Yeah, reading through this, I did pull my last year's taxes and everything because I'm actually refinancing. I have my bank statements that I am looking at, and I realize, honestly, I think I use different, I have several different accounts. And that's where I need to get my business all in one place, I guess. So I realize, and I'm not really focused where I need to be as far as on my numbers. So it's kind of been it's eye-opening for me, and it's just a different mindset that I need to get myself in. Like someone had mentioned during the beginning of COVID and stuff, I really was looking at everything and, you know, being that mean and lean and all that. So just kind of need to take a step back and really look at that in my numbers, I guess, you know, as far as, you know, appointments and all of that.
Awesome. Thank you. I love how, you know, on each, you know, how Gary has written quotes from some of the agents or just from someone in general. And I love, you know, I think the one, again, when we're talking about conversion, that is really something that, again, I'm really going to start paying really close attention to, because it's right here. We've discovered that the more we master our scripts and dialogues, the better our conversion rates are. And a lot of you have really good conversion rates, yet how awesome would it be, you know, if we could say truly 100%, our conversion rate is 98%, you know? And I also like, you know, we begin with the end in mind, which is what we do when we were planning for your 2022. It was, where do you guys want? What's important to you, units or what you're going to make? In 100% what we're going to make. We know the numbers we must hit, and we never lose sight of them.
I have something to say.
Yes, please.
So with the 3 that Arian wrote in the chat, it comes down to appointments. And I think the reason why my conversion rate is so high when it comes to buyers is that I'm not going on enough appointments. So my high number on that is because I'm not doing enough to raise my number. Yeah.
So that's something then for sure. We need to look at your conversion rate. If you know already that you're not going on enough appointments, then change it. Change it. Say, hey, coach, I'm, you know, and I do pay attention to it. And I know we've had discussions before. I'm like, okay, you've hit all your appointments. What's going on with the taken. And then some of you guys or gals or y'all are like, you know, well, they're going to be listing, but they haven't signed yet. So they're in the pipeline, but they haven't signed yet. Okay, cool. So again, then we need to maybe also pay attention on what type of seller and buyer are you working with. I have one client, I mean, all of her business is like 2 months out. And when we first started coaching, I'm going, okay, what's happening with this conversion rate? Because you're telling me, you know, you're going on an appointment and you're getting them, but you're not putting them on your, she goes, yeah, everyone's 2 months out. I said, okay, we need to find some, you know, clients that are like within the next week or two. And we just changed, we added how she's pre-qualifying and who specifically she's looking for. That's also something that I want you guys to be aware of. You know, when you're doing your appointments, how are you pre-qualifying them? Who are you meeting with? Are they someone that's good for your pipeline? That's awesome, because we want to just keep feeding that pipeline. Yet at the same time, we want to make sure that you're getting clients that are ready to go within the next like 2 to 3 weeks. Great way to do that is open houses. I know I personally do not like doing open houses yet. When my pipeline's dry, that's what happens, you know, got to do the open house for sell by owners. Expired listings. Yes, I know we're in this crazy seller's market. Yet if you were to start prospecting and marketing and farming expireds, you will get some. What are you guys thinking as I'm sharing this with you? May, what are you thinking?
I need to unmute. I'm actually looking at the expireds and some of the older expireds, not necessarily the newer ones. So I'm looking back 3 months ago, 4 months ago, and the things that expired then. So I'm totally outside of the range of when people have their extensions through, as well as, you know, that gave them opportunity to sign on with their other agent, sign back with them. So I'm actually looking at the expireds and sending them letters now, and working with that. I think I'm also going to start doing some pop buys on the expireds. So those are just a couple of the avenues I'm looking at. Because I prefer working with listings, not buyers.
So in one thing, thank you, May, for sharing. Allison brought up a good point. Some of you guys are not allowed to prospect expireds or for sell by owners. So for those of you that are allowed to, there is, and the majority of you that have been coaching with me for a while, y'all have my expired campaign. And if you don't, let area know, because if you consistently, and it is like, all you got to do is put your information in it. It is, I mean, in this expired campaign works. That is where I would say probably 10-15% of my business came from. And that's big. That's pretty hot, actually. The majority of my business was from my database and referrals. And that other percent was definitely from expireds and for sell by owners. She's going to share it with you, and it is spelled out for you guys. It's so easy. And if you consistently do this, and even going a year back, when you're looking at expireds, go a year back. Don't just look and see what's on the market right now. Go a year back and look and see who did not list. Go knock on their door if you have to. For those of you that are in a challenging, cannot prospect to for sale by owners or expired listings, what I would encourage you to do then is do some sort of like circle prospecting in the neighborhood and just door knock then, like, you know, don't let them know that you know that they've expired. Just say, I'm just letting the neighborhood know about the market and what's happening, and here's some information, and then just go to all the houses. If that is, I mean, to me, that you're not saying, oh, I see you're expired, here's my number. No, I'm just in the neighborhood, you know, I've sold some properties in the neighborhood and I'm just sharing what's going on in the market. You know,
Can I
yes,
add something to that? We had an agent who was doing something like that. And what she did is she took her farm, and so it could, you know, that expired could be in your farm. And what she did is she took maybe a block and she hit them with an 8x8. Just every week she dropped something off on their doorstep for 8 weeks. And then she'd move to another area. And she'd move those first 8-week people into like a 32 touch with, you know, every 3 weeks she was hitting them with something instead of just every week. And so she started getting her name out there, and she started building business fast with that. That's one of the things I've started doing, is just with a small group of people in a small area. I've started hitting them with everything from, so I just started introducing them with the golden letter and a few other things pertinent to their area. So I've just started that. Only sent out 2 sets so far, but that's another way to start too, is just a small area. You don't have to have a big, huge farm to do it, but you can just start small.
exactly. You know, and the saying is Rome wasn't built overnight, right? So also while we're here, to just kind of wrap things up, where it's going to lead in next is lead generating. We're going to start talking about the lead generating model. So I would love for us to meet, if everyone is like on board, so that we can get these models done before the new year. Pages 133 to 152, show of hands, who would be open to doing the book club next week, or do we want to meet the first week of December, or like that following week? So next week, lead generating model, or do we want to take the week off? Because I know I have coaching calls with some of you guys Monday through Wednesday, but you know, Thursday, Friday, I'm off. It's Thanksgiving, and my son's also turning 18. So, but if we want to meet one of those days, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, whenever there's time in my schedule, I'm open to it. Or if we want to meet the following week. Show of hands next week. Show of hands the week after. Okay, so it's the week. I think, was that half and half? It was half and half. Okay, well, who's open to doing 30 minutes on a Saturday? That Saturday. Yeah. So if you guys are all on the same page, the 27th, that Saturday, I will do that. If everybody, you know, is like, yeah, let's do it. So we can get that done, the lead generating. And then the following week, we can start working on the budget model. Cool. Okay. So Arian will send something out. We will do it not, because I know I've got East Coast and West Coast, and I'm right in the middle. So like if we did 10 a.m., that would be 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and 11 a.m. Does that work for everyone if we do it at 10 my time? Cool. Really fast before we wrap up, some of you guys and gals have asked, what are other, you know, clients that I'm coaching doing for Thanksgiving for their clients? I've shared, I'm baking, maybe not with all of you, I'm baking little pound cakes for my clients, and you can buy like the little mini loaf pans from the grocery store, and there's like, it's like 3 for $3, buy 2 get 1 free right now at Kroger. And so, and then I just buy the boxes of the pound cake mix, and that's what I drop off with my clients, for my clients. I don't do a pie because feedback I've gotten is they don't ever eat all of it, but it was really sweet. Thank you for giving it. And I do it to my top people, my top 50 that I've shared with you guys about, like, you know, getting those top people that you've done business with. What else are y'all doing? So we can just like spend a couple of minutes sharing ideas. So maybe some of you guys can get some ahas and, you know, pick something up that you'd like to do.
Done pies in the past, but yeah, I'm curious to see what other ideas are out there.
I'm really bad at this. I really don't do anything at Thanksgiving. I focus more on December. I start with, I have a calendar that goes out. They'll get it the week after Thanksgiving with a letter thanking them for the support, and just that I've been thinking about everybody throughout the year. And then I just start doing pop buys in December.
Nice. Rhonda, you were going to say something?
I simply do Thanksgiving cards with a handwritten note of how grateful I am for them. And then I do my calendars in a New Year's card. And then that's my first touch of the year. Then I follow that up with a call to say, how are your holidays? And, you know, who do you know?
Cool. Anyone else? What do you guys do?
I send out my business card, but rather than a calendar, I have a long magnet that has all measurements, you know, so when they're cooking and baking, and then I put a little thing like, you know, this time of year, it's kitchen and homes are even more important than before. Give me a call, I'll measure up. And kind of a cool thing to have the magnet rather than the calendar. Yeah.
Anyone else? Awesome. Well, I am so excited for you guys that you guys are stepping up, showing up. And I'm telling you, for those that are, all of you guys, just wait and see. Just keep showing up the way you are, being committed, growing. It's, you know, to just keep growing and learning and implementing. And again, Arian's going to send you guys the economic formula so that you can be proactive and plug in the numbers that we've already come up with. For those of you who have not turned in your 2022, you know, get it done ASAP so that you can plug those numbers in. And if you don't know your conversion rate, Gary Keller says use 75%. So for those of you who would say, oh, I'm 100%, is that 100% true that you're really 100%, right? If you then use 95. If you feel that you're 100%, use 95. But if you really don't know, use 75% as your conversion rate. Okay. And then we will get on the lead generating model. And what I'd love for you guys to bring to that call on next Saturday, the 27th, I think that is, would be your, 27th, your GPS. Or your business plan, because you're going to put what you've, you know, what you're doing, where your business is coming from. Okay, so bring your business plan and your GPS with you so that we can take a look at what are you doing to lead generate, and we can really fine tune that. Okay. Any questions? Cool. Don't forget, if you guys have any questions, I'm here. Just reach out. Okay. Have a great day. I'll talk to y'all soon. Okay.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving. Yes.